Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tarot Spinning, and we're going to finish out today. Is going to be the end of the Major Arcana. We finished last episode on Death, so this time we'll be starting out with Temperance. And of course these cards are just a bit skinny, but that one's sitting okay. With old Temperance, it is depicted in this as an angel, and I always say she, but it could be a he, has got 1 foot on the earth, 1 foot in the water. They're pouring the water from one cup to the other, and it's Temperance is to do with balance and healing, and just a nice positive energy coming in to sort of smooth things out and to calm things down. It just puts in a nice energy into the read. It sort of comes into balancing, getting or having some healing. Going to be having some healing coming in. You're going to balance out a situation or a certain thing that's coming into play. Seeing other people's point of view. You sort of become very neutral, just like that water in the picture. You virtually become fluid, become a bit more fluid. Card 15, we go on to the Devil. Ooh, the Devil. But I see the Devil as always a conscience. It feels more like a conscience thing to me, that, the Devil, the doubt. He's sort of to do with the material world on some level, so he's to do with feeling like you haven't got enough, chained to a job, not happy with where you're going or what's happening. He's the doubt. He's the shadow side that, there's the light, there's the shadow. So he's the darker side that, you flip in and out of, but you can't have the light without the dark. So to me, the Devil just comes in. And I think he's always to do a bit with a decision or going the wrong direction or making you doubt yourself. A bit of all that jazz goes on. It's the Devil. Then we go on to one of my favourites is the Tower. And the Tower always depicts the lightning bolt hitting a tower, a home, a big tall building. It's always usually depicted as. And the people flying out of it like they're falling to their death. Looks all a bit dramatic, doesn't it? But realistically, all those little yellow dots in there, it's Abraham's or someone's tears. I can't remember whose it is, but it's divine intervention. So this sort of sudden event, this turn of events, this sort of shocking change that's come in, that sort of comes out of nowhere, it's been divinely guided. It's been, it's like the hand of God, your angel team, like it can be all depicted like that, but to me it just always comes in as change. And it's sudden. Sometimes it can throw you off a little bit. You're spinning a bit like, oh, what the heck, it's all a bit holy hell, but it always is a good thing after. Once you get through the initial shock, Tower's quite good because it actually stirs things up and moves things and changes things. Then we go on to card 17, and that's the Star. The Star is like a wish come true. She's positive, very similar to the Temperance with the 1 foot in the water and the kneeling and the tipping the water on the land and in the water itself. So it's that balanced situation coming in again, healing, wish come true. She's the epitome of hope, that big yellow star, which is the star that's inside the hermit's lantern. That's her. So she's bringing you, pulling you forward, bringing you good news, bringing you some wish come true. So she's a really positive energy to have come in. She's a beauty. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to call her. But anyway, the Moon, card 18. So with the Moon, it can be intuition, it can be secrets. The veil is pulled across so you can't see something, and there's a reason that, the universe has made something be out of sight or kept out of sight. You see those same tears again across in between those two towers, so it's a gateway, and there's a bit of divine intervention going on in this card too. And with the Moon, she can be feminine, very feminine energy. She can be very much the Moon's energy in general is, the female, the feminine, the intuition, the veil, something's hidden, something's not shown, or something's not really revealed just yet. But I always see it as a fairly positive energy where it's, again, it's that balance thing with the sun and the moon. So that's the moon card. And then we go into, of course, the sun card, which I just mentioned, which is card 19. And just as the moon depicted the cold, feminine, sort of mysterious side, this sort of comes back to a bit more of the male, masculine, Ra, the sun god, like all that sort of jazz, but it's not really the sun god, of course. In the tarot, the sun is just the positive energy of the sun coming in, the sun shining across everything. The sunflowers has always usually got sunflowers, and the child is innocence because it's naked. It's the little child is an innocence, childlike energy, feeling free, feeling released. There's always that red banner sort of flying in around there, like a victory card vibe. Very, very positive card to come into a reading when you see the sun come in. It's like being freezing. It's like frozen somewhere, and the sun starts shining on you and it starts warming you. It's just that same nice energy. Then we go on to card 20, which is Judgment. And with Judgment, you've got Archangel Gabriel is blowing his trumpet. And as he's blowing his trumpet, the dead are rising out of their graves. So it's waking up to a whole new way of life, a whole change. It's a big change energy again, but it's a positive change, and again, divinely guided, because you've got the angel up here again. So it's like you're being led, or they're showing you a path, or they're bringing you forward into some energy. It's going to be a positive thing again, because Judgment is, like any change, it can be a little bit to get used to, but it always reminds me a little bit of the Fool, even though we're getting to the other end of the majors, being 0 card to 20 card. It's always got the energy a bit of the Fool, even though the Fool's beginning. By Judgment's time, you've probably matured and gone, a fair cycle has come round, and you're getting to the point where you're starting to realise your path, or they're starting to show you which is the next step to go. And then we go on to the World, which was the last card, which is card 21 of the majors. And the World is a few depictions. We have the four fixed signs of the zodiac, which is virtually showing it's got the Leo, which is for the fire, Taurus, which is for the earth signs, Aquarius for the water, for the air signs, and Scorpio for the water. Sorry, got a bit confused. I always think Aquarius is water because it's the water bearer, but of course it's not, it's air. Anyway, with this World symbol, it is the ending, and it's the big cycles in life. So it's the ending of, you might have been studying for 6 years and you've graduated. You're going to have a baby, so it's the beginning of a whole new chapter in your life, and you're going to be a parent for the first time, and you're starting a family. So these are really big changes. They usually come back in as quite a big, significant change in your life. And it's just the ending, marking the ending of the cycle and the big wheels that are turning in life. Just like the Wheel of Fortune is the smaller cycles within the world is the bigger cycle. You can have the world at your feet. The world's your oyster. All that sort of energy can come in, depending where she sits and where she is in a reading. But she always commands some attention because she is the top of the Major Arcana cards, is the pinnacle of the World card's always a nice one to see in a reading. So that's all the majors, just all chatted about on the quick side of things. We're sort of going to go just a bit of chat now about, I only ever look at these in an upright position and learn them upright. If you want to overload your brain, you might have a brain that can do it. You can learn the upright and the reversed for every card. I only do the upright because there's all different cards in that, all in the deck, and each card spells out a different picture. So to me, there's enough information there to not have to know the reverse and go a whole different way again. But because some of them have the cards come out the wrong way, people like to read them like that. So, you know, absolutely your choice. I would just be a pro tip. I'd only learn the upright for starters, and then if you want to push past that and go into the next bit, yeah, go for it. But there's enough to learn just with those first 78 cards. And like I said in the last video, I would probably separate the decks and just put the major together and the minor together and just play with one deck at a time and start learning. As you're popping them down, you're starting to recognise the card and remember what they mean. And as we skip through all the minors and then the majors, then starts all the combinations. So it's definitely a hands-on situation. If you start to just play with the majors, you'll start to recognise and see the cards. And when you start recognising them and seeing them, you start remembering what the card means. And it starts painting a picture. It starts telling a story. And of course, the combinations of the cards are endless, as you see whenever the readings go on. They're always, because they're shuffled, they just go everywhere, depending how you pick your cards and how you select them. Again, all back to individual taste on what you think feels right or what you're guided to do. But with these guys, just sneaking them back into the deck now, so they're spread across the place. Alright, they're back in. And one thing I would do is you get the deck, start shuffling, of course, which is the usual trick with cards, is to shuffle. And I'll just concentrate, and I didn't mean to do that. I'll shuffle for a bit, and I didn't really have much thoughts in my, not asking anything at the moment. I'm trying to just shuffle in general, just to blend the cards a bit. But then once you feel like you've shuffled them long enough, you can do that. You can do that for 5 minutes if you desire. Then you can start asking a question. I've always been the sort of person that takes notice of anything that fell out, because if it flips out or flies out, it's always trying to get your attention and trying to tell you something. Just laughing at my cards. Okay. So we got the Four of Wands, Three of Swords, the Fool, Page of Swords, Knight of Swords. So straight away is, you can hear I'm a bit blocked up, a little bit of rest and recuperation, a little bit needing to have a little bit of a break and look after yourself. That's me at the moment, so that makes a lot of sense. A little bit of heartache, or a little bit of heartache in the scenes. Well, won't get into that, it's a bit of personal chat, but yeah, it's something that's healing and something that's getting fixed, so that makes a lot of sense. The Fool is a new beginning coming up, and a new stage and a new phase, which again won't get into the details, but that makes a lot of sense to me, because that's definitely the energy that's coming in. And this is the speed of it. The Page is walking in, the Knight's galloping in, so it's going to come in pretty fast. It's going to come in pretty quickly, and it's news and information about the change and about the situation moving and changing. And because there's so much speed coming in, having a rest and having a break's not a bad idea, because it looks like I'm going to be quite busy with this end here. So that's just a general, flicked a few out, just a bit of a muck around. And you can, depending on who and what you like, how you like to read, you can get one card and you can ask for a clarifier with the Fool. Can we get a clarifier for the Fool? There we go. We get the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. And because I know it's like I'm reading for myself here, as you can see, I know it's to do with starting a new chapter in business and in work, and that's exactly what's actually going to happen. That's what I'm just starting to do. So how it all goes with the old tarot cards, how I've never ever stopped being amazed at just how they come out, and just bang, it's just there. The story's just there. There is, and there will be things that you get to find out, or it tells you things you don't know. But depending if you read for yourself, but when you're learning, you're going to be reading for yourself all the time, because you're going to be trying to get used to it and working out what you're doing. But that just shows you just a little bit of a muck around, just shows you exactly what's happening, and that it's all spot on. That's just all spot on, but I won't keep going into it because, you know, don't want to bore you with all my personal stuff, but that's just how they work. That's how I find, that's how they sort of go, and you can ask questions and get an answer. Sometimes you won't get an answer because they don't want you to know. If you know, it's going to make the outcome different. I know it sounds weird, but this is how life spins. It wants you to go through a certain situation to learn something. There's a certain way you've got to go down the wrong path for a bit to be shown or learn something, and then you come back onto the other path. There's lots that go into, which is typical life when everybody's walking down the path. It's nice to have a bit of a clue about what's going on, but at the same time, sometimes it's a bit of a mystery. But that's why everybody likes looking at the tarot, because it's sort of like you're peeping behind the curtain, see? You're backstage at the production and you're peeping behind the curtain and you're watching the show ahead of time. And who doesn't love it? It's a bit of mystery and it's a bit of curiosity and all that stuff. So yeah, that's just typically because I do love the tarot. So unless I'm called to go back into it at another stage, yeah, thanks for hanging out. It was nice to have a chat and go through my little interpretation of the tarot. So thanks everybody. Bye for now.